Welcome to the first on-site edition of Rail Talk. We're only 5 episodes in. We're already on site with a bunch of signage and branding. We must be doing something right. So stoked to be here with the entire team. My name is Joe Bianca. I'm an ownership advisor at West Point Thoroughbreds. Stoked to have everyone here, and especially John. I can finally reach out and touch you, buddy.
I was just going to say that.
So happy.
I know, you're so happy.
Here.
I know. No, I can't believe we're actually together at last, finally. All it took was the culmination of one show and to come here to beautiful Saratoga. So thanks again for listening.
Rail Talk is sponsored by Fasig-Tipton. We were so honored to be sponsored by Fasig-Tipton from the jump. And now we're super honored to be here on the Fasig-Tipton Saratoga Sales grounds. In fact, I might be talking a little bit loud right now because people are inspecting horses about 15 feet away from me, but we want to be part of the action. We want to be part of the buzz. And there really is no better buzz than this Fasig-Tipton Saratoga Sale. It's Monday and Tuesday. I've got the catalog right here. John gave me a trusty pen so it can look like I'm taking notes, even though I don't really know anything other than what John and Len have told me over the years. But beyond that, don't forget there's the New York-bred yearling sale, which is Sunday, August 13th and Monday, August 14th. That's a big deal too. A lot of great New York-breds. We all know about the New York-bred program. So shout out to Fasig for hosting us, and make sure to be here on the grounds if you can, because like I said, the buzz, you can't beat it. And this is where you find the top yearlings, I think, in the country, such as Flightline, a horse that I'm a little bit familiar with. So welcome to Rail Talk at Fasig-Tipton, and thank you to Fasig-Tipton, as always, for sponsoring Rail Talk. We must be doing really good on Rail Talk because we got the president and the CEO of Fasig to pop down for a few minutes. Boyd Browning, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
It's an exciting time.
Great. That's what I was going to ask you, because not only do we have the sale, and the sales grounds, as you can see, are buzzing behind us. We had the Hall of Fame ceremony today. Can you just talk about what it's like to walk around these grounds this weekend?
It's a special place. It's a special time of the year. One of the things I've always said about makes Saratoga special, I think it kind of reinvigorates our whole industry. We go through ups and downs, and there's all sorts of drama that we all encounter. You get to Saratoga, though, when it's like you hit the reset button, you cross that bridge coming up from Albany, and it's like, you get excited. It's the best racing in the world for an extended meet. We think it's the best yearling sale in the world in the world, period. You go out to dinner, and there's 3 generations of a family talking about like the races and the horses. There's a bounce, there's an energy in the air. You know, I just literally came out of the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, and the Songbird got inducted today, and obviously she was sold in barn 2, and then gets inducted into the Hall of Fame, and we get ready to have a horse sale this weekend. So it's great racing, it's great people, it's great horses. It's a wonderful tradition, and it's my favorite week of the year.
And you actually got a couple of bites at the Songbird apple because she sold here as a yearling and then again at the Night of the Stars.
The second bite tasted a little better. Interestingly enough, like, this is bad. The second bite, our commission was more than she sold for the first time. Well, she sold for $9.5 million. So our 5%. I can compute 5% of any number in the world.
Like Rain Man. That's great. That's
yeah, so I know. Yeah, so yeah, so but the commission was more than she brought $400,000, which was well sold, but as a yearling, but no, that's what makes a horse so great is you never know. To think at the time, if I had told Rick, well, this is great, I'm going to basically make more money in commission. Right. Not to mention he got over $9 million and $4 million in purses. He had a great ride too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's really special.
Yeah. So I know this is going to be you got to pick amongst your kids which is your favorite. But is this sale your favorite? Is the Night of the Stars your favorite? Because they're really both destination sites on the calendar.
Well, I think they complement each other. They're obviously our 2 biggest sales of the year. I think they're the 2 kind of like flagships of Fasig-Tipton. I think that just historically, this is the 102nd sale at Saratoga. And I think if you associate one name with Fasig-Tipton, I think it's Saratoga, because of the tradition, because of the heritage, because of the duration. It's sustained for over 100 years, which is a pretty remarkable accomplishment. It's remarkable we haven't screwed it up in the last 35 too. But there's a possibility of that. But knock on wood, not going to happen anytime soon. But they really complement each other. They're sales that you work on continuously. I mean, you're developing your clientele continuously. They're kind of two different types of sales. A yearling sales is more of and I don't mean in a negative sense, a crop production, because you have breeders who tend to produce horses year after year that have the brood mares that you want to develop relations with. In November, it's there's more like one-off deals where people have a great racehorse or happen to have a mare that produces something really, really good. But they're both those sales that you're so jazzed up before for the few days leading up to it, and you can't sleep. But they're my co-favorites. How about that? Okay, I got 4 daughters, and I've got 2 co-favorites in terms of sales. So, yeah.
You knew he wasn't going to answer that one, Joe, but it was worth a shot.
Yeah.
In addition to your work at Fasig, I think you're known as one of the more gregarious, funny guys in the business, passionate guys in the business. Where did that passion start? Like, what really lit the fire in you initially to get involved in this business?
My story's crazy. I mean, it really is. I mean, I grew up in Lexington, Kentucky, but not in the horse business. We'd go to Keeneland sometimes with my grandfather. We'd take 2 lawn chairs, and during spring break, he'd give me $2 a race to bet, and I'd do that. But I was a CPA in a former life, and literally started at Fasig-Tipton in 1988. Don't tell me, I was a 12-year-old when I started. So, and basically started as the assistant controller. If you would have told me in 1988 I'd have basically one career in my life, I would have said there's no way. CPA, finance, I'm going to go conquer the world. Fell in love with, honestly, the people, the game, and I don't mean the energy and the horses. I'm a people person, and I love the characters, the cast of characters that we deal with in this industry. I think I can, probably know about half the people that are the showmen and the handlers, because I've been doing it forever.
Right.
And also know the men and women that are buying and selling horses. But it's just, I try to explain to people that aren't in the business, if you've never owned a horse or you never had any involvement in a horse, the exhilaration, the excitement, that thrill when a horse that you're associated with is coming down that lane and wins is unlike any other feeling in the world.
Right.
And once it captures you, you're hooked. And I'm hooked.
Yeah. The bug.
I'm hooked. Hooked. And my friends, like we live in Lexington, our friends, I kind of live a double life. I tell people that we associate with a lot of people that aren't in the horse business. And they say to me, like on a Saturday night, if we're all having dinner somewhere, the phone will ding, and they're like, okay, I got to go watch a race. It's not a job, it's a lifestyle.
Right.
But they're all envious of me because they say, you love going to work, don't you? I'm like, hell yeah, I love going to work.
Right.
And every day is a new opportunity. You're going to run a race somewhere in America or somewhere in the world every day, maybe except for Christmas. But there's 364 days a year where there's an opportunity that exists. So, yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, and you talk about excitement and a buzz. There's a lot of buzz right now for a number of horses here, but one in particular is the Curlin out of Beholder, the colt that's selling late Tuesday night. How did you recruit that one? What was the process? And is that the sales topper, do you think?
Well, I have no idea who the sales topper is. I mean, because that's the great thing about a horse sale is that they're impossible to predict what's going to happen.
Right.
So I don't know. He's a lovely, lovely horse. Great balance, really, really attractive. Obviously, a once-in-a-lifetime pedigree that the first one to be offered for sale. I think the recruiting is basically relationship-based. I mean, we've done a lot of business with Spendthrift over the years. Right. Started with Mr. Hughes, who was a dear friend. Turned out to be a dear friend. I mean, the last 3 or 4 years, he became my friend. And he loved being able to. The great thing about like Wayne is, once you figured out how to deal with Wayne was a regular guy.
Right.
And I mean that is the most sincere compliment I can give, like Mr. Hughes, is that Wayne was a regular guy who happened to be a brilliant businessman.
Right.
And so we had a relationship, and then obviously with Tammy and Eric, his daughter and son-in-law, we've maintained a very strong friendship. Ned Toppy, who's the general manager, is it's a relationship. And it's a great honor, a great opportunity to have a horse to sell like him. But we're not going to discriminate. We're proud of all 230, the other 234 on the sales grounds. And what our job is to do is to give every horse that walks through that sales ring the opportunity to maximize his or her value,
right,
and to do everything that we can, and then let the market decide.
Yep.
I think the market's going to really like him.
Yeah.
I'm pretty optimistic that the market will like him. I mean, we're having the first day of showing, but literally I saw him get off the van yesterday. I was like, okay, we're all right. We're gonna be, things like that. But literally, he's a special horse. But we've got some really other special horses in terms of pedigree and physicals on the grounds too. Yeah. So I'm really excited, really optimistic.
I mean, you guys literally probably moved mountains to get that colt. I know you changed the alphabet to get that colt, because I was going through going A, B, C, D, S. Oh, B. B must be after S because it's at the end of the sale, right?
He was probably one of the last horses to be entered in the sale. He might have been the last horse to be entered in the sale. So you kind of have your hip numbers. We have a few what we call bar pages in there.
Right.
And he became a bar. He slid in there, so he's in a good spot.
Yeah, I would say so.
The only time B comes after S when John's talking.
That's right.
Saratoga is a place that evokes so many memories because people come back year after year after year. What is a memory that sticks out to you at Saratoga? It could be at the sale, it could be at the races. Something that sticks out that makes you smile when you think about it. Just
from a company standpoint, it was probably one of the proudest nights. It's probably been 20 years ago. The night all the power in Saratoga went out. Power went out. There was no power, except as you can see right behind that fence is a backup generator. And within like 30 seconds, the backup generator kicked on, and everybody said, "We're going to cancel the sale. You're going to cancel the sale." We're like, "No, we're going to be all right." It was raining like hell. It was nasty. It was thunder, lightning. The pavilion was packed. You can't run everything off of a backup generator. And we had one of the great sale nights that we've ever experienced. We sold a bunch of horses for over $1 million. It was the culmination of all the little things that you do.
Yeah.
It was having the general manager here at the time, the facilities manager, Bill Meisner, who had the foresight to make sure we had a backup generator and make sure everything was maintained so that it came on. It had the crew that was flexible enough to make sure that we got everything that needed to get done got done. The sound worked, the videos worked, the announcers and auctioneers, sweat was pouring off of them because it was so hot in there, but they were doing their job. And that's, I think really what you try to do is you surround yourself with really good people who care. And I think that's the one thing that I would think that if you would go through the people that are associated with our company, they all care. They care about the horses. They really do love the game. We care about each other, and we care about the people that are our customers. I mean, it is truly like relationship based. But that was kind of one of those nights where you're thinking, oh my God, what's going to happen? And it turned out to be, a great night, which I think is a tribute to all the little details. We've probably got 50 people here this week.
Yeah.
And all 50 people did their job.
Right.
And produced a really successful sale. So hopefully we don't have any glitches like that this year. But those are kind of special. And then you think of the great horses that you sold. I mean, like Songbird today for me was, it's a little emotional, personal.
Sure.
Yep. I did really good because Rick was my friend.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just, but I went to a bunch of her races. I mean, and you talking about, we're thrilled when she's coming down the lane and we're saying, he must own the horse. Well, no, I don't own any part of her.
Right.
But it's the success, but it's also the depth of what happens here. I mean, it's just, if you're involved in thoroughbred racing in North America, I can't speak for the rest of the world, you know how special Saratoga is.
Right.
And we're so fortunate to be a part of the whole experience. And it is the whole experience. I mean, like 2 great races today. The race car tomorrow is unbelievable. Yeah. I mean, and it creates that energy, it creates that excitement. Yep. And we hope we can do our part to maintain it.
Yeah, no, that's great. I'm glad I'm not the only one that gets all upset and emotional about racing, because we bought our first Grade 1 winner through Fasig.
Absolutely.
And I get choked up every time I set foot on campus in Lexington. So I know how you feel.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah.
And you always bring the energy. Your team brings the energy. It's going to be a great sale. Saratoga Sale Monday and Tuesday. The New York-bred sale the following Sunday and Monday. Don't forget about that.
Oh no, the New York-bred sale is really. I mean, it's the change in that sale over the last decade has been remarkable, because the quality of horses that are entered in that sale has changed. Yep. The people that are raising horses and producing New York-breds the quality has gone off the charts, and they're winning races at the highest levels. I mean, it used to be a kind of a restricted program only for the New York-breds. Now a New York-bred can compete anywhere in the world, and they've proven it year after year.
Absolutely. Well, Boyd, thank you so much for stopping by. Best of luck this weekend and next week. Always good to talk to you, man.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate it.
Oh, and thanks for the sponsorship.
No, you're right.
That thing too.
Yeah, no, let's get lots of eyeballs, okay? Exactly.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, man.
Okay, all right, thank you. Appreciate it.
very much.
Okay, thanks.
Rail Talk is sponsored by TaylorMade, TaylorMade Sales Agency. Mark Taylor is going to be here in a little bit, maybe with or without the groupies. We'll see. He has a very high expectation ever since John gave him that line. But John, as a buyer, you're more qualified to talk about this than me. Talk a little bit about the consignment that TaylorMade has coming up for this sale.
Well, the really nice thing about TaylorMade is that they're so professional. So from the moment you step onto the sales grounds by their barn area, they immediately send over somebody to help you. It's a liaison, brings you to the right spot to watch your horses. They constantly give you updates of what's going on with the families of the horses. And they're also giving you individual service by saying, Mr. Bianca, you have 4 more horses coming. Mr. Bianca, we didn't forget about the audible filly. She's just being scoped right now. She'll be here in 2 minutes. And a minute and 59 seconds later, she will be right in front of you. It's that kind of service. And they've developed such a rapport and such a following up here that they not only have one full barn, Fasig-Tipton actually built a second barn, barn 10, just for TaylorMade. So they have not one full barn, but 2 full barns of quality horses, potential champions. Come here, bid often, and bid with confidence when you buy from TaylorMade.
We'd like to welcome our next very special sponsor to the Rail Talk set here at Fasig-Tipton, Saratoga, the president and CEO of TaylorMade Sales, Mark Taylor. Welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Excited for Saratoga.
So good to have you, and you're another guy that's very busy that we very much appreciate you stopping by for a little bit. Give me a little insight into what it's like to be you, not just you, but everybody at TaylorMade through these couple of weeks of sales.
So Saratoga is a unique just proposition, right? You're bringing your whole team up here. You're bringing your staff up here. There's a lot of logistical coordination that goes into this sale that you don't have to deal with when we're selling in Kentucky. So there's a lot of prep that goes into it. And so it's kind of a sigh of relief. Once the horses are here, they're in good shape. You got your crew here and you're ready just to execute. So it's, you can kind of let down a little bit once you get on the sales grounds.
Gotcha.
And Mark, one of the reasons why this place is so special is because people bring their best horses here. So TaylorMade, you guys have thousands of clients. You probably look at thousands of yearlings every year. How do you pick the 30 or 40 that come up here?
So we've been doing this a long time, and we've learned by trial and error what doesn't work. And I think Saratoga, even though you have a higher level of pedigree here than you do in the July sale, I think what Fasig-Tipton hangs their hat on is confirmation, right? So you got it, regardless of what, whether it's July or here, or even to some extent their Night of the Stars sale, you need the confirmation. And that's really what their strength is as a sales company. And so we know we got to start there. And when we're raising horses on the farm, there's always the conversation. You think that could be a Saratoga horse? So you know that you don't want to bring a horse with physical flaws or physical weaknesses here. And then if they have that strong physical, then you can see if the pedigree fits.
John always talks about this, about how you guys, the horse from soup to nuts. Like you say, a lot of them you're raising. You can tell people the background of the horse, down to the last detail. What kind of a team, what kind of effort does it take to have that kind of, that holistic approach to raising and selling horses?
So it all starts with the people that never get on the podcast. When you're on the scale we are, you have to have structure, right? So we've got really good people in the trenches. So we're really blessed. We have an H-2B visa program where we bring over a lot of the same people from Guatemala and Mexico that have been with us a long time. And then we've got a lot of core people that live here year round. But having these same people come back every year, they know the way that we do things. It's plug and play into doing things the TaylorMade way, as we like to call it. So it starts there. You all were talking about on your last episode, Go Rocket Ride, So the person that pulled that foal out of its mother, the person that, nursed that foal when it got sick, the person that helped it through the weaning process when it went over to the yearling division, all those people are links in the chain. And if any of them don't do their job, you don't have the Haskell winner. So we've got a great team that does that. Then we're structured where we have farm managers above that are very, very experienced and good. And then we have our thoroughbred advisors that are the liaison to the clients. So we're trying to do the communication and the horse care, which is really synced up and just making sure we're doing everything the best of our ability to try to help that horse fulfill its potential both on the racetrack and in the sales ring. So it's a lot of people play a hand when we have success.
And one of the things that you guys also cover is you have a stallion program as well. And Not This Time has hit the ground running and has exploded. And I know there's a number of Not This Time selling at this sale, but there's also a Not This Time share.
Yes.
So how did that come about?
So Not This Time is a very tightly held syndicate. The Albaugh family owns, around half of the horse. And they're not interested in selling. They've been holding on to those shares. They've been approached a lot of times. They've peeled off a couple over the years, but in general, they're not sellers. And you've got TaylorMade that owns a chunk of sale. It's a long play for us. We're not selling. And then there's individual people that kind of hit scores that bought in with us early. And most of them, even though they would sell in most instances, they just believe in this horse. So there's not many people that want to peel off a share. So when one does come available, to me, it's a collector's item. It's a blue chip stock, and it's a play for the future because he's got 5 Grade 1 winners already. He's done that on the backs of mares that were bred on $15,000 and under stud fees, and now the mare quality is going like that. So, he's the best horse we've had in a long time since Unbridled Song. It's been 10 years since Unbridled Song passed away this year, which is unbelievable. Wow. But we're lucky to have him. We're very grateful to the Albaughs for giving us a chance with this horse. And we just think that this share is going to appeal to a very wide audience. And it's something that's going to pay dividends for a long time because he's very young. He's only 9 years old.
Yeah.
He started breeding when he was 3. So that's the other thing. Some of these horses don't retire till they're 5 or 6. And so if they ever do get to the point he's at, all of a sudden they're middle age, whereas he's still very young.
Well, also versatility, I think about with him. Dirt, turf, sprints, routes. I feel like he can do a little bit of everything. I asked, Saratoga is a place I think that makes a lot of people happy. It's like Boyd said, it's like a reset when you come up here.
Right.
No matter what's going on in the industry, it's a place to, meet old friends again, have a great time. What's a memory that sticks out to you in your lifetime coming up here that in particular makes you smile when you think of Saratoga?
Okay, there's one that makes me smile and there's one that makes me scratch my head.
I'll take both.
We'll take both.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the year that we sold Vindication up here, he went on to be 2-year-old champion. And as I recall, there was a power outage. And so, the lights went off in the pavilion, and that sounds like a bad thing, but it created an electric environment, and that, no pun intended, but there was electrical storm going on outside. And so all these people are sequestered in the building, and when they flipped the lights back on, I don't know if everybody went and had a couple drinks or whatever, but that sale was rolling after that. And Vindication ended up bringing $2 million and went on. And of course, he was Padua Stables, won. He was Eclipse champion the next year. And so I just never will forget that because everybody was like, what's going to happen? Are we even going to have the sale? We didn't know if it was going to be out for 4 hours and people were going to start leaving. But luckily it came back on. So that was pretty cool. And then there was the year we had American Pharoah up here. And so just to put it in context, it would be like having a sire that had first crop 2-year-olds. That's where Pioneer of the Nile was. He hadn't even had any starters, I don't think, or maybe a couple starters, no winners. Pioneer of the Nile was a horse I think people liked. He stood at Vinery at that point, but he wasn't like the horse that everybody was just expecting to do great things. And so American Pharoah was here. He was a very nice individual. But we were selling him for Zayat Stables. I think there was some hesitancy on whether people thought Mr. Zayat was actually going to sell the horse. Was it going to have a crazy reserve? End of the day, he was a very nice horse. We loved him. He had this big walk, but it just wasn't going to happen, right? Nobody had faith that they weren't willing to pay what they thought Zayat was going to want.
Right.
And in the end, it was a self-fulfilling prophecy because not many people vetted him. Randy Galat from Twin Creeks Farm, I think, was the only person that vetted the horse. And he was kind of looking at him as a pinhook prospect. I don't even think he knew Zayat owned him. And so he was a buyback at $400,000. And so we have, it's one of those things. Like we had the Triple Crown winner. We had one of the best horses of the last quarter century and we didn't get him sold. But if we had him up here again under the same circumstances and he was a first-year sire and we wanted 400, probably wasn't going to happen again. But we raised him on the farm. He was foaled out. I think Francis Relihan foaled him at Vinery. He went over to Tom Van Meters for a while, and then we got him in December of his weanling year. So I've got a lot of fond memories of seeing him out there. Our old yearling manager, John Hall, he was with us, and so he's a cool horse. But we always tell the story, we failed to sell the Triple Crown winner. So
he's still out of hand in what he did.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah,
That's
right.
Yeah,
Still get
exactly.
to market the fact that you did touch
and that is important. I mean, raising those horses, it's equally as important. It's more important, really, than selling them.
Yep.
Yep. And Mark, one of the things that we talk about all the time is, why we have mares with you, why we sell through you, and one of the horses that we're selling here, an Uncle Mo, was actually like almost an orphan foal.
Right.
And unfortunately, the mare passed when she was giving birth to this foal. And normally you'd worry, you'd say, oh my God, is the foal going to make it, and everything like that. And our liaison, Jeff Hazlett, called me and said, we're getting a draft mare, getting a nurse mare. Don't worry about it. It may be a little bit behind. And now all of a sudden it's selling at the Saratoga Sale. But that's the kind of rapport that we have with Taylor & Bay, and those are the things, extra efforts that they do to make sure the horse lived and ultimately is going to be a good yearling horse.
And if you look at that particular yearling now, you would never know that it had any bumps in the road along the way. It was a very seamless process. And I think that's the other thing that TaylorMade, we've got a lot of people on our payroll that if they wanted to go have their own business, they could do it. Jeff Hazlett is a prime example. It's like a Mark Cassie having a David Carroll on, or Asmussen with Scott Blasi. I mean, these are very talented people, but Jeff is a very loyal guy. He's like part of our family, and he's been with us for, 30-some years. And so he's got experience that's just incredible that he brings to the table, and that's what makes us strong.
Yeah, well, it says a lot about your company, the way your retention rate with those guys and those girls. It's a really impressive thing in this business. Like you say, it's very transient a lot of times. But I also want to, you guys go way back. Can we get some photos of you two as little kids running around on the backstretch? Are there any of those that exist? Because
I think we burned them all.
I know, that's what I was getting ready to say. I was like, I shredded the ones I found. I don't know what he did.
Right,
maybe Len's got some.
Len's probably got some blackmail photos that are just sitting there just
we
in
do
case.
have a couple great ones of our dads together, a couple win pictures and stuff.
I don't know if you remember this, Mark, but the very first Preakness that I went to, I was like 17 years old, and your brother Duncan and I, met up at Pimlico, and he took me to a karaoke bar. Did he ever tell you this story?
No, I never heard it.
I've never heard your brother sing before or after. But he was, 3 sheets to the wind, and man, he was singing Sinatra. He was singing Sinatra. He was singing, Bette Midler. I mean, that's how long ago it was. But I didn't realize that he had that extra talent. But that's how far back we go. It's like he snuck me into this bar.
Okay, Duncan is an amazing human being because there's like Duncan before he had kids and Duncan after he had kids. Mm-hmm. And Duncan's also a very spiritual person, a very religious person.
He wasn't that night.
But I used to tell people, I said, the separation between Duncan being in Mass and being incarcerated is about 3 bourbons. Right. So I was like, you got to keep him, between the ditches. Yeah.
That's a lot of people in racing, I gotta say.
Exactly.
But if we can get some of those old photos to pop up there, we would love to do that. Listen, Mark, I know it's a busy time for you. We appreciate you stopping by. Appreciate the sponsorship as well, and go knock it out of the park these next couple weeks.
Hey, appreciate it. Looking forward. It's gonna be fun. We also have Papilio running, which the time this airs, we'll know whether it stayed on the grass or not, but it's going to be hopefully she gets to run.
Hopefully.
That's right. And that race is sponsored by Fasig-Tipton as well.
There you go. There you go. Full circle, baby.
So good, Mark Taylor.
Yes.
Thanks for coming by, man. I appreciate
it, guys.
Rail Talk is sponsored, as always, by the Green Group. The patriarch of the Green Group, Len Green, is around here somewhere. I mean, he gets in more steps than all of us combined when he's on the sale grounds. It's honestly very, very impressive to watch. So he's very thorough when it comes to the horse inspection. He's just as thorough, if not more, when it comes to taxes. It's not too early to think about the 2024 tax season. If you're a horse owner, any kind of stakeholder in this business, Len Green and the Green Group have you covered. They have over 800 clients in this business. They do a great job, and there's a reason. They're number one in the horse business. I think do we have the giant Green Group logo here? Yeah. Yep. That's with good reason. We're proud to represent the Green Group and Len and John and the rest of the team. They'll take care of you 100% of the way. Like I said, never too early to start thinking about those 2024 taxes. Hopefully Len will come sit with us at some point after he's done running around the sales grounds. As I said, we are here on the Fasig-Tipton Saratoga Sales Grounds, and we had to get special permission from someone just to be able to shoot here. The Director of Client Relations at Fasig, Anna Seitz, welcome to the show.
Thank you guys for having me.
So stoked to have you. I mean, you know, we've known you for a while just from your work at Fasig. Can you just talk a little bit about this sale and what a buzz there is? You know, there's a lot of international participation. We can see it behind us. There's people on the grounds days before the sale. What goes into putting on this show?
Oh, a lot goes into putting on this sale. I mean, we obviously have a really great catalog, but in order to get these horses, we have to have our breeders nominate the yearlings, and then we have an inspection team. We have a great group of people that go out and inspect the yearlings, and so we've been working on this sale for months. And I feel like there are just some really fantastic yearlings here, and the yearling good horses bring good buyers, but being that it's in Saratoga, which is just such a great city, it all just goes together so naturally. So everybody wants to be here. Everybody's here. Absolutely. We've been working hard to get them all organized and get them pumped up for the sale, and we have buyers from all over the world here this year, so we're pretty excited.
And Anna, one of the things that people ask us all the time is, you know, there's 230 horses about cataloged, and I'm sure there's 230 more that could be in here. How do you guys delineate which ones go here versus October?
Versus the July sale? You have to have a really special horse to come up to Saratoga, because part of the thing is there's a lot of time. These buyers have been here, started looking Friday, the sales Monday night and Tuesday night. So there's a lot of time to pick horses apart. So you can go back and you can talk yourself into a horse, but you can also talk yourself out of a horse. So you really have to have the right horse. So you don't want to bring a horse all the way. It's expensive to come all the way up here, to bring your staff, to bring everybody. So you want to have a really, really special horse to come up to Saratoga so that it works out not only for Fasig-Tipton, but we want it to work out really well for you as well.
You know, one of the sales that we talked about a little bit on a previous episode of this show is the Horses of Racing Age sale, and it was a booming success this July. You know, can you just talk about not only that sale, but the growth of the Horses of Racing Age market and how you've been able to adapt and put on those sales?
People want proven racehorses. We're seeing it more and more. The July sale has really grown every year. It gets stronger, more horses. We've noticed that buyers are coming out of the woodwork from all over the world to buy horses out of that sale. Their online bidding we started online bidding during COVID, and it's been a huge asset to Fasig-Tipton because you don't have to necessarily be at the sale. You can have an agent on the ground. You know, we have the online repository now. So I think just making it easy for buyers to buy horses and being able to, the July sale keeps growing. And now the digital sales are really taking off. You know, we hired Leif Aaron last year. So he's putting on a big digital sale in August. And we have a ton of entries coming in, and that whole platform it's doing really well and growing, and we're expecting another great sale next month.
And when you come into a sales season like this, I mean, you guys kicked it off with July. It was a phenomenal sale. Now you're rolling right into Saratoga. Do you have like internal goals as far as, okay, we want to sell X number of horses or X millions of dollars or X number of champions? What is on your whiteboard in the office?
We want the sellers to come up here and get what they think is a fair price for their horses. And so if we can do that, not every horse is going to be $1 million yearling. Right. But if you have a breeder who brings up a horse and he sells a horse for $250,000 and that's a big sale for him, then that makes us happy. So we don't really come up and say, you know, every year we want to grow. We want to do better. We want to get more buyers. We want to make more money. But we also want to just do a good job for our clients and get as many horses sold and send home a lot of happy sellers and buyers.
Yeah. I mean, and the bottom line is making people happy at Saratoga. What are some of the memories that you have from Saratoga? Because, you know, you've done a great work at Fasig, but you also have a racing and breeding background as well. What are some of the things that pop into your head that happened here that make you smile?
The first time I ever came to Saratoga, my mother was pregnant with me. Because my family has always sold yearlings in that shed row. Actually, we don't have any yearlings here this year, but so I've been coming up here since I was little, working for my family, Brookdale Farm up here. Mm-hmm. And then I worked for Todd Pletcher for 4 years. We come into Fasig-Tipton. So coming over with Todd to the sale. So, you know what makes me smile is coming over those bridges when you come close to Saratoga and you're like, I'm here. I just have so many wonderful memories of Saratoga and Fasig-Tipton and just the people that come back every year, and when you get here, just the vibe. I mean, there's no place like it. It's just a magical city. And I always tell people when they say, I've never been to Saratoga, what's it like? And I say, it's really cool because you go up to Saratoga and you'll go to a diner in the morning and someone's reading the racing form, and you'll go out. Last night we had dinner downtown and then we all went next door and we all met up. And all these people just came up and were talking to us. They're all running horses or they love horses. And it's just, there's nowhere like it where the whole town is engaged in racing.
Absolutely.
So to us, it's like magical.
Heaven, horse heaven.
It is. And it's a destination site, just like the November sale has become a destination site for a lot of buyers and sellers.
I know of one, I think.
We know of one, exactly. One Wonder Wheel, maybe. But the reason why that filly is going into that sale is primarily because you've made it into such a festival. I mean, it is a place to be. It's a place to be seen. It's a place to be seen, with your hand up bidding on horses. But that wasn't always the case. So how did you guys develop that kind of feeling?
Boyd is just really good at, that's been his baby, and he's really grown it. We work on these fillies sometimes for 2, 3, 4 years. Sometimes it takes to get them. So I think that's a good question. Just a lot goes into the November sale and making it to be, everybody wants to sell their big horse at that sale because they want to be one of the stars at the Night of the Stars. Like, that's everyone's dream, and we're so excited to have Wonder Wheel. I was at so many of our races with you guys at the Eclipse Awards. Like, I feel like that's what Fasig-Tipton, when a good filly is running and we're included, like, we at Fasig-Tipton become a part of your horse. And so we fall in love with our clients. We fall in love with the fillies. When they run well, we're happy. It's more than just a job. It's really a lifestyle for us. And we love working with great people.
So that means
like
now,
you guys.
just for those of you at home, that means now I get all of those bad photos that Anna was going to blackmail us on. I get those back, right?
That's right.
Once we entered
now
the horse?
That she's entered.
Okay.
Well, Patty took about a dozen more bad photos of you just now.
That's it,
So those
exactly.
are going up on social. But one thing I love about the Fasig November sale is the respect and the reverence that people have for those mares. They come in and they sell. People give them a standing ovation.
It's so cool.
That's one of the things, like you say, Saratoga is so special because everyone's so engaged. I wanted to ask a little bit about the New York-bred sale because that's something that's near and dear to my heart.
It's a New York-bred.
As a New York-bred, I throw that in every once in a while. But that's grown over the years as well. And you were mentioning before off camera that the barns, you have more horses in the barns than ever. Can you just talk about the growth of that sale and how important it is?
The New York program up here, racing-wise, is strong, and it feels like it's getting stronger. And with all the improvements to the racetrack, and the purses are huge, everybody wants to race New York-breds. I know a lot of people in Kentucky, they're like, I want to have a New York-bred because it makes sense, and they'll say, yeah, I'll just fly up and watch my horse run. So the New York-bred sale, we're hoping for a big sale. We've had to add some temporary stabling, and a lot of buyers that used to leave after the main sale now will stay through the New York-bred sale, and that's always a great sign because they say, there's some really nice horses in this sale, and the New York breeders do a good job, and so it's a lot to cram into a couple weeks, but it's fun. And
yeah, you guys are working your asses off here, so I appreciate you taking time to come stop by and talk to us. So best of luck to you and the rest of the team at the sale.
Best of luck to the Green selling horses. Hopefully buying a few.
We'll keep our fingers crossed, but we also really appreciate the fact that you guys are one of our initial sponsors, and we can't thank you enough for that that kind of support.
It's a big deal.
We're happy to do it.
I'll support you guys. Go check out the catalogs and come to the sales.
The sale is open to the public. All Fasig-Tipton sales are open to the public. It's a little crowded here on Monday night. The whole city comes out, but that's what makes it special.
Right now it's nice and quiet. You can feel the momentum building.
Exactly.
To Sunday.
I do have one more question, all kidding aside. So if people wanted to register to bid online, whether it's for this sale or for the Digital Horses Racing sale, what's that process
You
like?
just have to go to our website, Fasig-Tipton.com, and you can see the forms for buyers of which sale you want to register for. And then you have to set up credit with us if you've never currently bought horses, and we'll approve you, and then you'll be able to bid away. And
But it's fairly easy. It's fairly easy to get that done.
We ask people to don't wait till the last minute to do it because it gets hectic if it's the day of the sale and you're trying to get all organized. So.
Right. Great.
Appreciate the time, Anna.
Thank you, guys.
Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you very much.
How much fun was that, John?
Oh, that was incredible.
Absolute blast. Thank you to Fasig-Tipton for hosting us. Thank you to Mark Taylor for stopping by, Boyd Browning, Anna Seitz. Thank you to the Green Group. Thank you to Len Green, who's sitting there waiting for us to be done so he can go take his nap before going to the races. Thank you to everybody who stopped by, everybody who sponsored, and a special thank you to our producer, Patty Wolf, and our associate producers, Nathan Wilkinson and Anthony LaRocca, as well as Aaliyah LaRocca, who's home taking care of the show's niece, I'll say, Baby Paisley. Appreciate you guys. They worked so hard to set up everything here. Couldn't do any of this without y'all. We just have the easy job. We just get to show up and talk. So it's been a blast. We'll do another one of these hopefully in the near future. Thanks to all y'all for watching. We'll see you next week on Rail Talk.